Hmm. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me or not, um, but I just felt the need to go live. I don't know why, but I've been fighting it for an hour now, and so here I am. So let's see, you can drop something in the chat to let me know if you can hear me, if the sound is okay. Oh, wow, there's 3 people. Wow. Well, hello. I was just saying, I just felt the need, like maybe over an hour ago, to go live. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what to say at this time, at this point. Why do I need to? And I thought, I don't know. And my bestie said to me, girl, you better get online. Shouldn't you be going with the flow? And I said, yes. And so here we are. B Aura, Happy New Year. I just saw that thing flash there. And the reason why I don't have my camera on, look, if there's one thing you'll learn about me, I prefer to not have a camera on. Like it's just not about that with me right now, I just does that make sense? And so we're here. And let me do a plug for it. January 27th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a Q&A. DM me. You can DM me on any platform. You know what they all are. Instagram, Twitter, if you're on Fanbase, it's all Positively Angela. And if you go into my About Me, you'll see all of the platforms there. Oh, Sal, yeah, that's right. I can't handle those things, camera all the time, just a. So, you know, um, I trust that everybody had a good day today. And, because I know there's so much going on. So if there's, that's what the Q&A is. This is what I was telling, but I got distracted by Sal's message. B, thank you. Um, you know what? I do my best to live by the law. And I told somebody last week, I try not to give my opinion. I give the law, though. Right? Dana, hello. It's good to see you, honey. It is really good to see you. Um, so on the 27th, there'll be a Q&A. DM me your questions. One question per person. I'm taking 27 questions. And we're going to do it step by step for each question on what it is you want to accomplish and how to apply the law to it. That's what we're going to be doing at that live, that Q&A. And I say to people, if you haven't joined on any of my platforms like Patreon or a YouTube membership, it would be $9 to attend. That's all it is. Because I want the message to get out to people, you know. Um, that's that's truly what it is. So, what's been going on in your world? Because you guys know on Monday nights we do Bible stories, right? Um, and we interpret them through the law. Are you struggling with anything? Do you have a good report? I'll give you something today. Like this one is, I wouldn't say instant, but it almost was. To tell you how you have to stay faithful to your new way of living. Normally, I've always been somewhat argumentative because I've always had to defend myself, yeah? And today I came across this, I had bought something for 99 cents. Mm, so I thought. Today, out of my PayPal, money comes out. And I was like, wait, what now? And they're saying I subscribed. I'm like, I didn't subscribe to nobody. Like, are you crazy? For $26? Montreal, nice to see you. You're about to go to the gym. Oh, well, I'm going to give you a good story then. Let's see if we can find one. But earlier, so I see this thing. So I click on contact and I said, well, let me message these people because I need to know what's going on. And they said to me, well, In that 99 cents, you agreed to subscribe. I said, whoa, 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 hold your roll there. I said, no, I didn't know such thing. They said, well, it's in our terms and conditions. And and this is an email, and I'm ready to argue. And I was like, what? You can't hold on to my money. That's my money. You can't. I didn't agree to that. And I said to myself, you know what? No, Angela, we don't argue anymore. We don't fight anymore. I said, I know too much to be petty and to be fighting. What is it that you want? I said, my money back in my PayPal. That's what I wanted. So I get home now, and they, in their email, they're telling me, no, you are not entitled to a refund. Something said to me, Google it. So I Googled them. And in the Google was like well over 150 complaints with my complaint. And I was like, mm-hmm. So I copied the link. And in the email, I said, well, listen, clearly you know you have a problem because all of these people have the same issue that I'm having. And I said, it's either you are ignorant of the problem, I mean, you see it and you refuse to change it. And if you refuse to change it, that means your site was designed to deliberately deceive. That's what I said. And I put a space and I said, I would like my refund. And I put the dollar amount. And I said, if you are deliberately deceiving, you know, that's a disservice to your customers. And so I get this little notification, you have a refund. You see, when you are living your new life, meaning you're behaving the way you want to behave, right? It's not something you can stop doing. And I made the conscious decision to say, look, Angela, we're peaceful. We're not going to be having arguments. Because let me tell you, I could have a whole argument in my head. Right? And I made the decision and I said, no more. I'm done. I'm not having arguments in my head anymore. Because if I'm not having an argument in my head anymore, that means I'm not having an argument outside with people I interact with. You understand? So I had to catch myself because let me tell you something. I was ready to fight. I was ready. And something reminded me, is that your new way? And I was like, no, it isn't. My new way is peace. And so that's what I did. And I heard, stick to the facts. Stick to the facts. What's the problem? What's the solution? And that's what I did. So the encouragement for you guys is the same. If you said you're going to make a change, stick to the change that you're going to make, even though it seems too hard to do, even though you feel tired, even though you might feel justified in reverting back to the old way. Stay the course. Stay faithful. Right? Because now, going forward, I will argue less and less and less until I don't argue anymore. Why? Because I am practicing peaceful reconciliations. That's why. So you see, it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. But because you already know the outcome, because cause and effect tells you if you know the cause, you can predict the effect. As long as you know the outcome, well then, you know exactly where your success is. So, why am I on tonight? I have no idea. Like I said, I just felt this need to be here. I felt this tug to be here. And even though I fought it, because I'm like, who's going to show up? I don't know. So if you have a question, drop it in the chat and let's figure it out. Is there something with the law that you want to understand better? You see, when I come on and I do these impromptu things, take advantage because Use these impromptu things, you see? So if there is something you want to understand better about the law, drop it in the chat. I'm looking there now. Ooh. Thanks, Dana. You know what? I'm glad I followed it too. And I'm glad that my bestie kicked me in the butt and said, hey, you do it. I'm glad that she did that, right? You see, I read on Reddit, somebody was saying, we're going to talk about the all. Because the all is mind. What is the all? This person on Reddit was saying how they felt God wasn't helping them. They felt like they were trapped in their life and had no way out. That's what they felt like. And I said to myself, but we are not either rewarded or punished. See? When you know what it is that you want, you're always trying to figure out timing. When things go your way, what and when was I thinking the thoughts that created it? My bestie says the same thing, so you can go back and duplicate it, right? Everything happens according to law. And in that moment, because every moment is different, you see, every moment is different. You came on here tonight. I came on here tonight because that's the moment that we are in. We live moment by moment, right? But that's the thing. To duplicate it is simple to duplicate it. The effect that you had, was it something, like you said, it's either to duplicate it or to avoid? Miss Deforestation, I see you. So Dana, to duplicate it, the effect that you want. You see, we spend a lot of time, what's the word that I want to say here? We spend a lot of time looking for our results, looking for our effects, is what we do. And when you spend your time there looking for it, it means I don't have that. This is what it means. So when you are acutely aware of what you do not have, that's a different vibration altogether. So the reason why that quote unquote timing that brought that thing about, you know where you were? You were in a state of ease and calm and relaxation. You weren't so focused on it. But if you look at the outcome, you will know exactly where the thought was, Dana. Because the thought and the effect must match. So if you were in a situation where you argued, well, then the thought was one of an argument. The thought was argumentative. If you're experiencing the effect of, holy cow, that worked so fast, right? If you experienced the effect that said, wow, what a coincidence, then you are in a state of allowing, which means you're at ease. You're at ease. You're not fretting. You're not worrying about anything. You're just going with it. That's why you can always tell by the effect what causal thought is going on. This is why when the Heart Math Institute tells you that the heart and mind must be in coherence, they must match. How do you get them to match? The thought, which is the cause, and the effect have to be the same thing. Cause and effect. You can't have a cause, right, and not know the effect. And you can't have an effect without the cause. Oh, yes, Miss Dana, always look at the outcome that you've just experienced, because that will tell you exactly where your mind is. And where your mind is, your body will begin to feel a particular way. When your body feels that way, your body is telling you you are either at a good vibration to allow good things in, Or the vibration is a little low, and you know what you can expect from that. Why? As within, so without. Does that make sense? Right? This is why it's important to always be observant of oneself and not to judge. Because if you're having the thought of, oh God, I messed up again, see that thought doesn't make the body feel good and it lowers the vibration. That's why I tell you, you cannot separate the seven principles. You're not just going to raise your vibration. You have to change the thought that influences the vibration. Right? Does that make sense? It is just one of those things. Yes, Sal. Yes. It's just one of those things. My father said to me about 2 weeks ago, when you rush the brush, you waste the paint. In other words, take your time and have fun with what you're doing. Yeah, but Angela, I'm still broke, girl. Angela, I'm still single, girl. I don't have a job, Angela. What do you mean? Listen, if it is a new job that you require, right? Exactly. And you know if that thought is negative by the way it makes your body feel. So if you don't have that job, imagine yourself. Who's the first person that you would tell that you got a job to? Who's the first person? Then that is the thought you have. Oh my God. And you have that conversation because the thought really is the conversation you're having with yourself. Have that conversation and you tell it. Tell that person all about your new job. Tell them, man, I got the hours I was looking for. I got the rate of pay and they paid for any upgrades in my education I want. You tell them all about your new job. Just tell it and tell it and tell it. You know why? Because it's what we do naturally. Anybody piss you off, right? What do they tell you in marketing? That one good customer that you served and you served them really well, they're not going to tell anybody really. But you piss off one customer, they're going to tell 10. They're going to tell 20 people. Why? Because we love to talk about it. So that job, that person that is closest to you, tell them all about it. List every single thing that you want in that job. Tell them that you got it. And you tell it before you fall asleep. Tell it when you wake up. Tell it when you're having a mid-afternoon break. Tell it. Don't look for the job. Tell them about it. You know why? Look at the difference. When you're looking for the job, yeah, you don't have it. Oh, they go to police. Yikes, might be the ambulance. But if you are telling your friend about that job, then you have it. And if you have it inside, then you must experience it. You will get an inclination, like how I got one. Go online. I'm like, oh, but I don't want to show my face on camera. I still don't know how to turn the camera off. I just don't have the light on in my room. Right? Tell the story of your perfect job. It's the same thing for the relationship. Reminisce. Reminisce and tell. Who are you going to tell? Oh my God. Somebody's going to ask you, how did you meet them? You guys are perfect for each other. How did you meet them? Tell the story. Don't look for the mate. Tell the story. Why? When you tell the story of what you want, you're not looking for it. You're busy reveling in it. You're busy living it. Even though when you go home, the house is still just you and maybe the dog or the cat. That's okay. But have trust in your story. The more you tell the story, the more that you tell the story. Sooner rather than later, you must experience it. You keep telling that story about the mate or the job or the new car. You'll go somewhere, you'll meet somebody in line at the grocery store, and it will happen so naturally. And as Neville Goddard says, the first thing that will come out of your mouth is, oh my God, what a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It happened the way you told it. That is it. Oh, it's the fire truck. I hope everybody's okay. But does that make sense, my beautiful friends? And there's only 6 of you here, and I love that intimacy, you know. Anything else you want to know? Anything else you want to look at the law through? Like, because that's what it is. Understand us. We are people. This is how we behave. We tell a story all the time. Sometimes you can tell a story so much you forget if it's true or not. Right? That's the beauty of learning the law. You've got to master the art of telling the story. You are the storyteller, right? And when you begin to tell that story, you see that person on Reddit who said, I feel hopeless? Why would you feel hopeless if you are telling the story of how you say your life is going to be? You can't be hopeless from there. But you see, we want to hope, we want to wish. You don't do any of those things. You apply the law. The law is fact. You're not going on feelings and emotions. You're going on fact. As within, so without is fact. How do you know it's fact? Plant a sunflower seed and tell me if you don't have to beat that squirrel away from trying to eat the head of the sunflower. Because that's all you're going to grow if you plant a sunflower seed. As within the seed, so must the plant be. And I know we hear it all the time. We hear it all the time. But the more you hear it, it sinks in. And you begin to start using what you've taken in. You begin to start using it. Right? So, are there any questions? Because I'm going to stay until, I don't know. What is my battery power? I don't know. I can't see my battery power, but I'm sure if it gets to 10%, it'll tell me. So we've got some time to have a conversation. So feel free to ask questions. It's totally okay. Because that's what I want to do. And share this live stream, because that is my desire, to get the law out to as many people as possible. Why? Because this is the information that people are looking for, and they don't, it's not that they don't know it, they know they're looking for something. And when they hear it, they're usually led to these places. You see? They're usually led. And so that's why I say it's important to get the word out. So share this live stream. Yeah, share. And let's help each other. Are there any more questions? Anything you'd like to know? Anything you want to say or share? Because I think it's always good to leave room for that. I trust you guys can still hear me. I'm trying to figure out how to see if I can see the chat. Let me see. Oh, if yeah. But does that make sense? Because I was going to tell you about the all. Let's talk about the all. Who is the all? What is the all? The all is mind. The all is mind. Say it to yourself and it'll make sense to you. The all is mind. What does a mind do? It thinks. The all thinks. And how does it think? It doesn't contradict itself. How do you know? Because as within, so without, as above, so below. There is no contradiction. They're the same. So there's no contradiction. So what do you do if you want to change? Have your thought match your action. That way there's no contradiction within you, the same way there's no contradiction within the all. The all moves. It's self-moving, yeah? So you see, the thoughts of the all are precise. They're not random because cause and effect. So you see, the all. Sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to get your mind around something as vast as the all. But if you look at those 7 principles, you get a glimpse of the all. You get a glimpse of the all. Now, remember, the all is mind. Mind. We humans have a body and we want to give a personality to the all. But the all doesn't have a body. Thus, it doesn't have a personality because it's not a person. And it doesn't judge you, it doesn't reward you, and it doesn't punish you. It does, however, make you like it, sovereign. See? So the all shows you what it does and says, hey, why don't you imitate me? Now, if you imitate the all, you'll begin to see a wonderful change in your life. If you learn nothing else about the all doesn't contradict itself. As within, so without. As above, so below. Every cause has an effect. It is very straightforward in how it moves. Always. And it doesn't deceive either. That is the beauty right there. The all doesn't deceive. It is very transparent. Very transparent. And there's nothing that you or I can do to lose access to the all. Not a thing that we can do to lose access to the all. Because the all is in all. Who's all? Notice the difference in words. The all is in all. We are all. And the all is within us. And we are within the all. Well, how do you mean, Angela? Well, look at J.R. Tolkien. He wrote Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You see those characters? Frodo Baggins, Bilbo Baggins, Smeagol, Frodo, Samwise. All of them are thoughts in J.R. Tolkien's mind. We saw his thoughts come to life on the screen as a movie. So, what are we? We are thoughts in the mind of the all. And we're playing it out. Now, here's the beauty. It does not matter where you started out in life. As Neville Goddard says, you could have started behind the 8 ball. It is irrelevant. You could have been born with a silver spoon. It doesn't matter. You could have been abandoned. You could have been neglected. You could have been given up for adoption. Any number of things. You could have been an orphan. All those things are irrelevant in light of the all. Why? Because if any of those things are unsatisfactory to you, If you say, you know, I was abandoned and I want a family so that I can, you know, I can be I can be a great mother or a great father. If that is what you want, well then, what is a great mother? She listens. She nurtures. She teaches. She guides. Do you see it? You have the capability of being any anything. If it causes you angst in your life, something in there that you do not like, the law says to you, okay, you don't like that, so what do you want instead? Put your attention there. Start to tell the story of it. Start to behave in that manner. Well, I don't have money, Angela, to buy a brand new dress. It is irrelevant. Put the ideal dress on within your mind. And when you put that dress on in your mind or your imagination, you begin to walk a certain way. You begin to talk a certain way. But you're not wearing the dress. Not physically, but you're behaving like you are. And it is only a matter of time or polarization that you get the dress or that you become the mother you want to be. Nothing is withheld. There is no one sitting and saying, well, you know, you were a good girl or you were a bad girl. Let me treat you accordingly. No, the law does not behave in such fashion. The law does, however, give you what you are. And that is why it tells you aim for the highest ideal and become it. So you see, you don't ever have to grovel. You don't have to beg. You don't have to plead. You just have to have a clear image of what it is you want to be. Right? Now, if you put a question there, my eyes were closed for a moment, so I didn't see it come up. So drop it in the chat again so I can see it if you had a question. But that is the beauty of what we've been given. And so many of us don't know we've been given it. We don't know that we've been given this beauty. And I'm pretty sure that's what scripture says. You've been given beauty for ash, like beauty instead of ashes, right? You are magnificent. But for some reason, you've allowed yourself to be convinced otherwise. Remember, the law isn't asking you what George says or what George believes. The law is asking you, what do you want? It's calling your name. Dana, what do you want? Montreal, what do you want? Sal, what do you want? Miss Conversation, what do you want? Not what you've heard is possible or impossible. And that's what it's asking you for. So how will you answer that question tonight? Will you answer that question and say, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know if it's possible even. Or will you get out your pen and paper and say, what do I want? That's what it is. How are you going to answer that question? What do you want? It is the most beautiful thing, the law. Do you remember what they are? Do you remember the principles? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. Vibration. Everything moves. Polarity. Everything moves between two poles, creating a swing to and fro. Rhythm. Creating a rhythm, an ebb and a flow. Causation. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. gender. A projection of the will, masculine. Giving life, giving form, feminine. Those are the 7 principles. Whether it would be mentally that you do it, whether it is physically that you see it, they are always at work. Those 7 principles are always at work. They don't take a break. They don't take a day off. We would fall into chaos if that were the case. But they stay. They are always on. Always. And that's why I tell you, memorize the principles. Because when you memorize them, you begin to see them around you. And when you see the principles, you begin to utilize them in your everyday life. Every day, all day. You guys are so good. You're so patient. Here you are. There's 3 of you left in the space. It's a good thing for impromptu. I still don't know why I felt the urge to come online. I have no idea. I don't know. Now here's the question. Should I have done it when I heard it the first time? I don't know. Because every cause has an effect. Yeah, and every effect has its cause. See, that's something else we'll learn as well. The don't look back and regret. I'm like, oh no, I should have gone online an hour earlier. Perhaps. But I'm here now. And so what will happen next time? Next time I'll do it the first time I hear it, won't I? You see, you only have to do it one time. You only have to do it one time. It is nice. Let me see, what can I tell you? Seeing that you guys are here, I can share a little bit about myself with you, which is something I don't normally do. What can I tell you? I've always told you about my grandpappy, a most spectacular man. Oh yeah, he embodied the laws. He really, really did. I didn't even know that's what he was doing, but that's now that I reflect, I can definitely see that he embodied it. And I was the only grandchild raised by my grandparents. The only one. The only one. And I will have to say I think I was loved a lot. you know? And so when I look back, that memory overshadows all of the things that have happened that were unsavory. Because I have those memories, they are still there, but the the memory and the knowledge and the time spent with my grandfather overshadows the fact that when you don't have protection, you don't feel, it's not that you didn't feel like you had no protection. You just didn't. You were neglected by your caregivers who were your mother and your father. But that's where the law, and my grandfather always used to quote that scripture when he said, though your mother and your father forsake you, the Lord will take you up. Because you're never alone. I learned this. You're never alone. Yes, it stings. Oh, how come? Didn't you want me? Was I not special? That kind of thing we ask ourselves, like it's our fault. In actuality, it wasn't. Our parents were just doing what they knew how to do. Unfortunately, at a cost to us. But we're not back there anymore. Right? That's what the law does for you. It says to you, yes, I know where you've come from. I know how you were abandoned. I know you were neglected. I know you were hurt. But you don't have to stay there. You can have a beautiful life if you know what it is that you would like. You see what you've been given? You see what I've been given? That's why I tell you, do not allow the memories of the past to make you keep doing the same thing over and over. The body will always remember. It just will. That is its design, to recall information and act upon what it recalls. This is why you walk every day. This is why you read and speak and tie your shoes the same way, because the body remembers. But now here's the beautiful thing. If the body has a bad memory and it presents it to you and says, do you want to behave the same way? You get to say, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to behave that way. I want to behave this way. And every time you get the suggestion from your body by way of memory, well, you know what? You used to argue all the time. And here's a position where you can argue. Do you want to argue? And you can say to your body, no. Peace, please. And the desire for the argument will leave you. It will. Right? It draws from past memory because that is its design, or quote unquote program, habit, all the fancy words you can think of. But consciously, as a sovereign being, when you are presented with the information to, it'll ask you, would you like to repeat the pattern? Would you like to repeat the pattern? You can say, no, insert new pattern, and you do the behavior. And every time you're presented with, do you want to repeat the pattern? You say, no, insert new pattern, and do the new behavior. But if you stop and you complain, oh, it's taking so long. Why am I still the same? You are not the same. The minute you interrupted the old pattern to say, no, you changed. Now you need to continue in that change, and continue in that change boldly. Yes, this is how we, quote unquote, break generational curses. You don't have to do it the way your mama did, unless, of course, you're baking bread or cooking the way she cooks. That's different, right? That's different. But you don't have to make poor choices anymore. You don't. Always remember, every time that memory comes up, would you like to repeat? You say, no, insert new program. And what is the new program? The new behavior that you wanted to do. Like tonight. I could have argued, man. I was ready to fight until I remembered, oh, right, I don't fight anymore. So my body said, repeat the program. I was like, no, insert new program. Peace, please. And I got the desired outcome without having to raise my blood pressure and lower my vibration. See? And I will say this. The arguments get fewer and fewer between. Yeah, because I'm doing the new, right? As I said tonight, we want to fight against old habits. That is what we call resistance. We want to fight against the thing that we've always done because we want to break the habit. It takes too much effort to break a habit. Why? This is why you don't have to get up every day and learn how to read. You've developed the habit of reading. And do you want to have a habit easily erased so that you can forget how to read? No, you don't. That's why when a habit has been set, you must make a new one if that habit that you have set is undesirable. because to push against it, it will defeat you because that is its job. So, what is the solution? It is easier to make a new habit because there's no resistance. You're learning something new, you're doing a new action. It is beautiful. So, do the new until it becomes set. Because now, once it becomes set, well, you're doing what you want, right? You develop the new habit. That's why if you know the old habit that's been plaguing you, look at it. And you say, I'm unhappy with you. So let me replace you. What do you want to replace it with? That is the question you must answer. Because once you answer that question, now you begin to do the new behavior to replace the old. This is how one creates a new habit. What is a habit? Thought, word, or action that you do consistently, day in, day out. Right? So, if you are unhappy with the old habit, the old way of being, you name it and you say, you know what? I don't want to cuss anymore. What do you want to do? I want to speak beautiful words, or I want to speak life, right? And then that's what you proceed to do. Now, you know how it is when we cuss for so long, and it's just natural now for you to cuss. But every time you catch it, you say, and you replace that old cuss word with a more desirable one. That is why to change from to, to change from something to a new something, you must identify what the quote unquote thing is you want to do. You don't want to smoke anymore, so what do you want to do instead? We already know you want to quit smoking, but you see, smoking is an activity. It is something that you do. What would you prefer to do instead of smoking? And if you make that decision and you say, I will do this instead of, then keep doing the new thing. When you are presented with the opportunity to repeat the program, you say no, insert new program, do the new activity. Does that make sense to you tonight? I trust that it does. Because there's so much. If you say, I'm always late, well, what would you like to replace lateness with? I would like to be on time. How much on time? You want to be there right on the nose? If you say 10 o'clock, you're there at 10 o'clock? Or you want to be there at 5 to 10? What is it? So if you say, you know what? Being on time, that's what I will replace lateness with. So that means when you have an appointment, you set your alarm, right? If you know you're going to make overnight oatmeal, make it and get it ready so that when you get up, you eat, you do what you need to do, you get dressed, you pick out your outfit the night before, you get yourself ready so that you get up and you flow into your movements so that what? You leave the house on time, you get to your destination on time. You are simply replacing one thing with another. You are replacing one behavior with another. This is what we do. Right? Yeah, but it's so difficult. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Say what now? Let me tell you something. That dog is going to go where the treats are. And it will do whatever trick, unless the dog is too old and he can't roll over anymore because his hips are bad, or he's deaf and he can't hear you. But the dog will go where the treats are. So you understand. Yes? If you identify the old behavior, now replace it with the new. That is your, and be consistent. Be consistent with it. right? I trust that made sense. We're almost at that hour mark. I will I will log off in an hour, like at the hour mark, because I want to be respectful of your time. But does that make sense? Are there any questions? Because there's six of you here, and me, I'm just going with the flow. I don't have a script. I don't have anything. I'm just going with the flow. That's all I'm doing. You know, it's just one of those things where we've got to, when you see the law and you say, well, it says, as within, so without. Okay, so I'm going to do this new behavior in here. And when I go out into the world, I'll be doing that new behavior. That's what you do. You don't judge yourself. Why not? You know why you don't judge yourself? Because if you have judgment within you, then you will have to experience a judgment on the outside. What does scripture tell you? Judge not, lest ye be judged. What does that mean? As within, so without. That's why you don't judge yourself. You assess yourself and you say, I'm learning a new way to be. I can do this. Be gracious with yourself. Why? Because if you practice grace with you, you will experience grace on the outside. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, we all know this hard one, forgiveness. But again, if you listen to that word and understand that as within, so without, the forgiveness doesn't have anything to do with the person on the outside. The forgiveness has to do with you. Because if you walk with unforgiveness, as within, so without, you will experience experiences where you get to be unforgiving because you're walking with unforgiveness. So they have to match. They have to correspond. Unforgiveness inside. Then you get to practice unforgiveness on the outside. So that means you'll experience something where you're going to have to choose if you want to forgive or not. And those are never fun or pleasant. So you see, forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about as within, so without. Now, if someone has hurt you and caused you distress or insurmountable pain, I'm sorry. It wasn't your fault. It truly wasn't. Now, though, as within, so without. If you walk with that inside of you, you have to experience it all over again. So the law says to you, what would you like to experience? Now, don't get me wrong. We are justified in feeling the way that we do. But would you rather be justified or free? There's the kicker, isn't it? Oh, believe me, I know all about that. I know all about that. Do I want to be free or do I want to harbor this bitterness? As within, so without. You think bitterness stops on the inside? It shows up in your face because it's on the outside. You're walking with it. So don't worry about the other person and how they've hurt you. Draw close. Remember, the scripture says, draw close to me and I will draw close to you. What does that mean? It means if you bring yourself close to the law, if you align yourself with the law and you look at your life and you go, you know what? I've been walking with that pain for too long. I'm going to just leave it right here. If you're having a shower, allow the soap to cleanse and the water to rinse. And when it goes down the drain, it is gone from you. The memory may still linger. But linger, it might. But if you draw close to the all, the laws, and you remind yourself that, you know what? I need not be bitter anymore. Because as within, so without. And the minute you say that, it begins to make you feel physically good in your body. Because you've just literally raised your vibration. You have. And once you raise the vibration from there and you say, what's a new way that I can live now? Because you can't have a hole, you can't have a void. Why? Because every cause has an effect and every effect has its cause. So if you're getting rid of the unforgiveness and the bitterness and the anger and the rage, believe me, I know all about that. You need to replace it with something else. Now, because you don't fly off the handle, it doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means you know when to fight and when to hold your ground. It is always best to practice discernment. Always. You know when to act and when to not. The law will teach you because it will ask you, what effect would you like here? You want to beat up, drag down, brawl? Or you want this to be amicable? You want to diffuse the situation? Discernment. You will learn discernment when you practice the law. You see it? Look at the beauty that you've been given and bathe yourself in it as if it were a beautiful fragrance. We want Gucci. We want Green Tea by Elizabeth Arden, Dolce & Gabbana, because we want to smell good. We want to permeate ourselves with a fragrance that shows something. However, if you saturate yourself in the fragrance of the law, oh dear, as within, so without. Ah, Miss Conversation, you rest well, my beautiful friend. Rest well, and it was a pleasure to see you. Always saturate yourself. We have 2.5 minutes remaining. Always saturate yourself in the fragrance of the law. And you are in complete control of that. As within, so without. What do you want to be? And with that, my beautiful friends, I thank you for being here tonight with me and sharing your time. And I will remind you, January 27th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a live Q&A for members of my YouTube. There's a join button on there. The lowest tier is 99 cents. That's cheaper than Starbucks. And will give you a most beautiful sensation when you kiss the law. Or you can go to my Patreon for the people who want to dig deeper and learn more of the law. B, thank you for being here. And if you don't want to do that, it will be $9 US to attend the Q&A on January 27th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on any platform except for TikTok. I'm not there. I'm Positively Angela everywhere. Slide into my DMs and submit your question. I'm only taking 27 of them for the sake of time. Right? And we will answer the question by way of law so that you can apply it step by step to get your desired change and outcome. I sincerely look forward to seeing you all there. And I think sometime in March, I'll be teaching the laws again because we need to know them, right? And we'll do a workshop there as well. But again, thank you for being here. Slide into my DMs or post a comment below. Much love. I'll see you again.